Astro Business Lab. I'm Anna and I'm an aerospace consultant. There are two organizations that I do space work for. One is NASA and the other is SGAC. I assume all of you know what NASA is, so I'll get started with SGAC. SGAC stands for the Space Generation Advisory Council, and they do really cool work. So they're an organization that supports the United Nations by gathering ideas from people all around the world who are between the ages of 18 and 35 on topics related to space. If you're getting close to university age and want to volunteer somewhere, check them out. They're a great way to get to know people from all around the world who love space. What I do for SGAC is I organize a conference called SGAC, where space leaders gather to talk to people who have just started their careers. And they talk about how dreams become realities and how we can make sure that we take advantage of opportunities that come our way. This year, SGX is going to be in September near Washington, D.C. So if you're in the area or traveling nearby, I hope you can come join us. For NASA, so other second organization, what I do is I help some of the leaders understand what their organizations have committed to in order to fly the Space Launch System and the Orion space capsule that will be on top of the SLS rocket. Mostly I do my work at my computer. I'll call people to talk through projects or problems, and I spend a good amount of time looking at spreadsheets or making PowerPoint charts. Before the pandemic, I did get to travel to see the rocket that the team works on. It's really cool. And so here's a picture of me in front of an Orion mock-up at Johnson Space Center. And here is another picture of me in front of one of the engine test stands, actually on top of the engine test stand for the SLS engines. It's really tall, it's a couple hundred feet in the air. Really cool opportunity to see that. Unfortunately, since the pandemic, I haven't even gotten to work in the office much, but I did go in one time, and so I took one picture just to remember that moment. Something that might surprise you to learn is that many people who work for NASA, who work on NASA projects, are not actually employees of NASA. Many of them are employees of other companies. So for example, my employer is Booz Allen Hamilton, even though most of the work I do, all of the work I do almost, directly supports NASA. And so if you are someone who's interested in working for NASA or one of the other space agencies, take a look at what other companies support that work, and that might broaden out how many opportunities there are for you to become employed in that and support those projects. I know that might be a little far out for some of you, but just keep that in mind. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what you can do to show your interest and your love of space while you're still in school, in elementary school or junior high or high school. And there are several ideas. So one is you can get a telescope, or maybe one of your friends has a telescope, and learn how to use it, enjoy it. There's this really cool thing called astrophotography. I don't know how to do it myself, but there's people who have figured out how to take pictures through telescopes. Really cool, awesome pictures of, the ISS, the space station, traveling across the moon, as it passes in front. Really cool. Take a look. You can also build model rockets. There are really easy model rockets that are, pretty much just something you can do in your backyard, and there's some really big competitions you can get into as well. So that's one way to check it out and look at what your interests are. And, a third idea is there's books to read, there's pictures you can draw, there's a lot of ways to express your interest and love in space. One more thing that I want to mention is I did not grow up knowing that I would work in the space sector. I, in fact, did not know anyone who worked at any space agency or any company that supported satellites or rockets or anything like that. And so I thought that if you wanted to work at NASA, you had to be an astronaut. That is not true. I hope all of you already know that, but I didn't. So just telling you, most of the people that I work with are not astronauts. We do all sorts of interesting things that maybe aren't what you think of normally. So, there's one person I work with, and to some extent my job is this as well, where we help make sure that NASA is doing the things that Congress and the President have told NASA to do. And there's someone else I work with that helps run the social media accounts. So when you see NASA tweeting or the Artemis account tweeting, that's somebody I know who is writing those tweets. There is also people who look and make sure and understand what might cause schedules to slip. So what make it so that we can't actually launch rockets when we say we're going to. These are all really important things, and the important takeaway is that whatever your interests are, there's a way to use those in the space industry. You don't have to feel like you have to study exactly this or that in order to work in space or on space related things. Do what your passions are, and one day it will come together. That's it from me. I hope you all have a great day, and it's been an honor being here talking to Astro Liz's Lab.